Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today we are thinking about, is it hot or is it just me? This is something that women and people, we all are saying sometimes, like, is it just hot or is it me? Goodness gracious. So thankfully I have Carin here who's going to help us think about this in a whole new way. So let's just go ahead and dive in. When you hear those words, that phrase, is it hot or is it just me? What does that make you think about?
Well, I mean, this is a question I was asking myself in my early 40s. And I would ask myself and pretty much everyone around me, like, is it hot or is it just me? And most of the time, it was just me. And also realizing that I was deep into perimenopause. And what I was experiencing was just hot flashes or night sweats. I'd be in the middle of the night tearing off the sheets and ripping my clothes off. I'd be like, oh my God, it's so hot. And I'd look over and my husband has like 5 blankets on top of him. And it's like, I don't know, 60 degrees in our bedroom. So
Oh
just
my God.
starting to realize like, okay, all of these changes that are happening to me, you start asking your girlfriends first, right? The inner girlfriend medicine circle, like, excuse me. Pardon me. Is it, so I'm just also fighting a flu here. So thanks for being
Good.
patient with me here.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of realizing, starting to talk to doctors and my gynecologist and realizing like, okay, well, what other symptoms am I having? And comes to find, through the years was getting a little bit of brain fog. Like my mind wasn't as sharp as it used to be. I'd walk into a room and be like, why am I here again? And then the same thing again with like, heart palpitations, anxiety, like all these new kind of weird symptoms. I'd be looking in the mirror and, under fluorescent lights at the gym or like in the airport, I see like, oh my God, am I starting to like, is my hair thinning? So just kind of putting it all together and realizing that I was deep in perimenopause and just kind of started to feel my way around for, is there like a website or a service where I could find products and tools to help me through these symptoms? And there really wasn't one around. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to build it. So that's how hotorjustme.com came about.
That's beautiful. You have that go-getter spirit. Like, you know what? If I can't find it, I'm going to be the one to resolve this problem, and it's not going to be a problem anymore. We're going to bring it out to the world so everybody can utilize this tool. Because if I'm looking for it, I know somebody else is. And I love those individuals who have that type of spirit because, goodness gracious, this world, we think we're going through it so much alone, but in reality, we all are experiencing it the same at different times, at different levels, at different parts of whatever you want to fill in the blank. But it's like, it is something that is really happening. And I guess when you were going through this stage of your life, how did it really feel? I mean, like you said you were going through the anxieties, you were going through this as a hot, like, but in reality, how was Karin
Yeah.
feeling? Like, what
Uh,
was really going on in her heart? Like, what was really happening?
Yeah, Mitzi, I mean, you totally nailed it. You crushed it when you say like that feeling of am I alone, right? Like, am I the only one? Is this normal, right? And I think you're confused, you're scared, you're anxious. You think sometimes is it bigger than this? Unfortunately, doctors don't have a lot of training in menopause, and I think it's only about 3 or 4 hours during their residency that they learn about this topic, and so they're kind of prescribing medicine for these little symptoms. So if I went in, feeling like anxious or like nervous a lot, like feeling like tense, and then it's like, oh, we'll take this antidepressant, or it's like, oh, I'm having trouble sleeping. They're like, we'll take this Xanax, and it's like, dude, this is too much. Let's take a step
Yeah.
back and really like think about this from like a bigger picture, like and so it's scary to think that you trust your doctor to know about these things, but in reality, you have to become an advocate for your own health. So yeah, definitely like lonely, confusing, scared, all of the feels, right? And then, comes to find out that this is such a universal experience that all women will go through this at some point in their life, and that, we're just now at a point where we can talk about it openly, freely, and out in the world.
Yeah, and I think that is important because my mom is currently going through her discovery of menopause, and
Ah,
I'm telling her like it's okay, don't worry about it. I have tons of women that I actually talk to, and they say it's normal, and I'm like trying to tell her like it's okay, and she's like, no, this is not normal. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm a hot mess, I'm emotional, I'm tired,
ah.
I'm exhausted, but I have energy, but then it's gone, and then it's like, what do I do with myself? And I just lay there, just like, oh. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't even, I can't even touch her because she doesn't want to be touched sometimes. So it's like,
I have the
I,
funniest story for that. So
oh,
I'm
tell me,
Cuban.
go ahead.
I grew up like, child of immigrants. We had like no money. And this is in Miami. It's like 100 degrees all the time, right? And my mom, of course,
Yeah.
she's like a single mom trying to save money. And we'd be like, Mommy, please turn on the AC. And she's like, no, that costs money. Mija, you have
Yeah.
to put on the fan. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's like, and so we were dying growing up. Like it was always just so hot. And then I remember there was a very specific time in life where she would crank the AC. Like just like I don't care. She's just like freezing us. And so it was just so funny that yeah, that was just something that she didn't even know she was going through. And it's something that at that time, this was like whatever the 80s, people weren't talking about perimenopause. It wasn't like a word that we knew. And as a culture, we celebrate like coming of age when we hit puberty, we celebrate our kids, like you're becoming a man, you're becoming a woman. But there's
Yeah.
like no celebration or no talk even about like this amazing transformational journey that's happening, almost like a second puberty, with really
Yeah.
similar common issues that, we can relate to our kids in a different way.
That is a beautiful way to put it, a second puberty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the first puberty is like your body's modifying. And then the second time around, your body's modifying again. So why can't we use that word? Like I don't know, but I like that and I'm gonna
Yeah.
take it. You know what I
I
mean?
was
Like I'm gonna take it because that is really interesting because so all of us women we're bound to face that wall. You know what I mean? We're bound to cross that walk. We're going to face it. And it's just why is it so difficult? And I think it's like what you said earlier, because when you go to the doctor, they diagnose you for all the symptoms that comes with it, but it's not just like one big pill, like, well, you're just on menopause. You're in that menopausing phase, so just deal with it. It's growing pains. Imagine a doctor just telling you no, because that would be unsympathetic. You know what I mean? That would be kind of
Yeah.
rude. Especially if
Yeah.
you go to the doctor like, oh, well, you're just going through menopause here. They're gonna just be like, well, you have this, you have this, you have this. Here's a pill, here's a pill, here's a pill. And enjoy all of the side effects that comes along with it. And it just puts you in this like state of mind. It's like, I don't even want to touch those pills because that's where my mom is. She's like, I don't even want to touch anything. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just try to figure this out the natural way. So I have to ask you, I looked through your website and it's amazing what you have. But for those who are listening who are not sure, why did you create your website and what's really on it for people to really invite themselves in and relate, because come on, we're going through this together.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically what I did was I took a step back and I did a bunch of research on what are the top 10 symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And
Yeah.
so for perimenopause, there's irregular periods. You might have them like different times. They might become monsoons. You might be getting hot flashes and night sweats. You might be dealing with insomnia and fatigue. You might have hair and skin changes in this time. You might have brain fog, just concentration issues. You get crazy mood swings and irritability. Like you just get a little bit like more irritable than usual. There's anxiety, urinary incontinence, there's bone and muscle aches. So just to deep dive on all the different symptoms, which there's close to 100, but really there's like, a concentration of a few of these categories. And then, from there I said like, well, what are the tools in each one? So for example, in hot flashes and night sweats, like what is the bedding that you lay on? So we have cooling sheets, we have temperature regulating pillowcases, so the fabric helps to regulate some of the temperature as you get hot. Sleepwear, everything from like your nightgowns, the fabrics that you're wearing to sleep in during the day. We have moisture wick technology tank tops. We have jewelry like this bracelet that it's a cooling bracelet, so freezable jewelry that helps to cool you down at your pulse points. And yeah, eye masks. So just like there's so many things, but what I did was basically broke it down by what are the different products that you can use to help support you during this time. And as a complement, if you are taking hormone replacement therapy, maybe you're not, these are great solutions. And if you are, maybe there's gaps in it, or you're still trying to figure out, what you're solving for, which is the right medicine, what's the right dosage. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's really something out there, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, most definitely. When you were talking about it, I was like, goodness, that sounds like me already. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm at that point where I'm changing the fabrics of my clothing. I'm changing
Yeah.
everything, even though the
Dressing
way I
in
sleep.
layers, all of
Yeah.
it, right?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm a big fan for layers. My husband, he used to make fun of me when he first moved out, because he's originally from Texas and we met in Texas. When he came back to and followed me up to Wisconsin, and he used to see me in layers, and he's like, why are you wearing layers? And I'm like, because one, it's cold, and two, I'm cold and I hate being cold, so I have to wear layers to make sure I'm warm. And
Yeah.
no, not until just recently when it got to like -35 just a couple of days ago, he realized like, oh,
Insane.
well, now I'm on the layers train, but
Yeah. Oh,
I think that
I wish I could trigger a hot flash in that kind of weather. That would be amazing.
oh my goodness, I'm right. Then you would really go outside like, you would be steaming. Like literally
Yes,
steam
please.
will come out of you. You feel like a goddess or something.
Yeah. It's
Something
so wild.
someone would have to record you. I think I've actually seen videos of people from like Canada and just
Mhm.
way up north where they jump into the water being so hot. And then like, you know what I mean? You could see the difference in their skin. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're going so off topic. Let's bring us back on. So I have to ask you, what is something that you appreciate now in this stage of your life?
Oh, wow. I think it's just the journey, right? There was a quote that it's a privilege to get older. Not everyone gets to get older. And I thought like, oh, that's beautiful. Like so there's, people that die young or that they have health issues. And so just being grateful and being in a state of gratitude for this journey that I've had, the experiences that I've had, good or bad, going through a divorce and, eventually finding love again and being remarried. I have three children that are just the light of my life. I've been fortunate in business and my career. And so, just finding positivity and joy for this journey and just living in a state of gratitude and even for the bad moments too, right? Because those are teaching moments. They really, they shape who you are and your philosophy on life. So just to kind of take it all together and to realize that aging is a privilege.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've seen that quote too, and I love that quote, and I go by that because getting old is such the goal that we don't even realize that. Like when you put it all into perspective, about just dying young, diseases, car crashes, accidents. I mean, come on, the coronavirus just made it real for anybody can drop in the dime. Good health, bad health. If it happens to you, it could happen. You know what I mean? It could happen, So it's
Yeah.
just a reality that we have to face. And I think speaking about death is not something that should be a taboo like it was in the past. It's not about
Mhm.
inviting death, because that's not a thing. You can't invite death in that manner. It's about respecting death. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think people don't respect death because if you respected death, then you would respect your life and you would value your life and you would have the gratitude like you have and you'd have the understanding that, things are just going to come. You got to appreciate the battles. You got to appreciate the blessings. You got to endure it all because that's what life is. It's the good, it's the bad, it's the ugly and the beautiful. But when you are stuck on one frame, then you don't get to experience life. You're just stuck on
Yeah.
that frame and on that perspective. So, yes, I absolutely agree on that. So, I have to ask you, what is a pet peeve of yours?
Yeah. A pet peeve. Oh gosh. It's funny.
Hmm.
As you were saying, what you talked about the also what struck me was about our vessels, right? Like the bodies that we carry through this journey of like taking good care of them. Yeah, in terms of pet peeves, I don't know that I've been like triggered by anything lately, which is funny because my name is Carin and like, there's always that expression of being a Karen. And,
Yeah.
up until, whatever it was 5 years ago, being a Karen wasn't an issue. And now suddenly it's like, okay, can't be a Karen. But yeah, I think it's like, even that, right? Like this criticism for people standing up for themselves or like just like, speaking their voice, maybe, right? So it's like maybe like that the pet peeve I have is when people are Karening someone else, a Karen.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it was. Oh my goodness. To add on to that, it's so funny because in my my little hometown, I drove past the church and I read on the little thing Karen's congregation, and I was just like, Mom, what is this Karen's congregation? Are they all praying? May I see your manager? Can I see the director? You know what I mean? What are they talking about? You know what I mean? Like I'm over here trying to figure this out, but that's what people think of it. So yes, that's a great pet peeve peeve because if my name was close to it, it would be one. But people confuse my name with Michelle. And my
Really?
name, yes, because my name's Mitziel.
Yeah.
And for some reason, even Spanish people, oh my goodness,
Uh,
all my life, they'll be like, Michelle. Michelle, like, no, it's not
yeah.
Michelle. There's no CH, none of
No.
that. No. So, yes, that's one of my pet peeves. To be honest, I have a lot of pet peeves. I think I have a pet peeve every time, a new pet peeve I
What's your
realize
biggest
every
one?
time.
What's your big pet peeve right now?
Right now, I think, oh, that's a hard one. Oh, that's a thinker. Way to make me think about it. Because I've been kind of working on things. I guess one of my pet peeve is like not 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 finishing things that you started. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because one of my thing is I used to always have that issue where I'll start something and then jump to another thing and jump to another thing. So now I'm learning to have that as my pet peeve. Like I have to have it bother me to the point where I have to do something about it. You know what I mean? Like I have to like flip the script on myself
Yeah.
because I feel like I have to retrain my mind
Yeah. And that's
and like
yeah.
trick it in that manner so that I can actually get things done. Because yeah, I was one of those individuals that start a project because I have a great idea at the moment and then just drop it and then go on to the next. Like those that irks my soul now. So yes, that's one of my biggest pet peeve, I believe. So I guess to get back on topic, and start wrapping up the show, what can be some lasting words to keep us thinking?
I think a big one is to know that you're not alone. Not just in a community of women, but like as I mentioned, if you have, teenage or, preteen children, they're dealing with something really similar and you can relate on a really human level of like knowing what it's like to cry for no reason or,
Yeah.
feeling uncomfortable in your body and like being able to have just a shared sense of vocabulary around it. And then also with your partner, I think a lot of women don't realize that men go through a version of this called andropause. And it's basically a decline in testosterone as they age. And, similar, they'll have weight gain, bone loss, insomnia, night sweats, headaches, depression, mood swings, like all of these things, in addition to, hair loss, little like pudge in the belly. They might have some kind of mild or moderate erectile dysfunction. So there's all kinds of issues that men deal with as well when they're aging. We might like chalk it up to like midlife crisis or something silly like that. But really, it's like, again, to have sympathy and compassion and to open it up for a discussion with your partner of like, hey, what does it feel like for you? I'm noticing these things as a decline in my hormones. Like, are you catching some of these things like, happening to you or your friends or having discussions about it and with your doctor too? So again, just realizing that it goes beyond just a shared discussion with your girlfriends, but it can be, a human experience too.
Absolutely. To be honest, you just blew my mind with what you just said there because I never thought about men going through a type of menopause before. But if you really think about it, you know what I mean? If you really allow yourself to think about it in the stages of puberty, if young boys go through puberty, then why can't men
Yeah.
go through puberty as well in that stage of their life? Like, why label it a midlife crisis? Why not accept the fact that they're going through that type of stage too, but just in a different way? So
Mhm.
talking about it will break down those barriers and the discomfort. And yeah, buying products that you sell on your website would be a great way. Like, okay, honey, we're gonna have to get these cool sheets because we ain't
We're
not
going shopping
sweating
together.
tonight. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't gonna be sweating buddies tonight. No, no. So
I
yes,
love it.
oh my goodness, that's awesome. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, please go check out her website. And if you guys want to purchase some of the great things that she has to offer, she has a discount off of her website, 10% off using Mitzi, just Mitzi, Mitzi. How easy is that? So that you can, live your life a little easier. Take it easy. Yes, it's hot. It's not just you, it's a lot of people around the world. You know what I mean? It's all of us, young, old, man, we sweating together. So with that being said, y'all, always, always keep thinking, y'all. Bye.